Hey y'all, Miss B. And I wanted to talk about something different. And I may be late to this show. So Tracy Ellis Ross did a show called Solo Traveling with Tracy Ellis Ross on Roku. And I kept seeing clips. I follow her on Instagram of different little things she was posting over time, but I never knew it was like this show. And I am essentially tired of seeing the same content about the same things over and over again. So I was like, well, let me see what this show is about. Y'all, when I tell y'all how much I loved this show, because I love traveling. And last year, not last year, 2023, I did a solo travel for the first time ever out of the country without my kids, without anybody, just by myself to Jamaica. I'm going to get to that later. So in the show, Tracy goes on to, explain how she does getting prepared. But when I was watching it, I was like, I love Girlfriends. This is kind of like Joan from Girlfriends. If Joan from Girlfriends, and I know that's a character, but some of her personality in the show on Roku kind of reminded me of what Joan probably would do on a solo vacation. And it kind of gave me Eat, Pray, Love, which I also love, which is also like just traveling the world, meeting people, different cultures. That is something I love to do. And it also kind of mixture with Anthony Bourdain, where he would go to different countries and eat the food and talk to the locals. And that's essentially what Tracy did on this show, which made me love it anymore. So in the first episode, and I want to know about why it was only 3 episodes. But anyway, on the first episode, she was getting prepared to go to Morocco, to Marrakesh. And she was showing like she takes 2 weeks to prepare. She lays out all her clothes. She has everything prepared for like if it's raining, if it's this, it's that. But Morocco, I don't think it's gonna rain. But any kind of weather conditions, her toiletries, even the upkeep of traveling on long flights. You have to wear different compression socks from being on a plane too long. Her wiping herself down in her little plane suite, and doing her facial routine and everything. And then she gets to Marrakesh, which they call the Red City. I want to say Marrakesh has never been on my bucket list, but I would say maybe one day. It's a lot of other places I want to go to. And something she does that I am bad about doing, all the clothes that she prepared for this trip to Marrakesh, there's like probably like 3 suitcases of all different clothes, all different things. She unpacks them on these nice, beautiful hangers. And that's something I don't do on trips, y'all. But I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Like even though you're not in your personal closet, you lay everything off so you can have different options. Maybe you want to wear this, and she would say that. Maybe I want to wear that. So she just unpacks everything, hangs them up on pretty hangers. She also brought a lot of her product pattern. I'm not sure if anybody I know has ever bought a pattern. I know before we boycott Target, that pattern was there, but it's like everybody has a hair product. But if anybody has ever tried pattern, let me know. But because I know that she used a lot of pattern products, and it looks nice. But Tracy Ellis Ross also have a different texture of hair than I do, so it's like, who has purchased her product pattern? It's been out for a long time. It's been out for a minute. So anyway, a lot of the theme of this show was saying, she's been traveling alone since she was 25, 26, whatever. And her thing for it is not for the glitz, the glamour. It's to make herself happy. And while she's getting ready to go to dinner by herself, she talks about how Oprah says she's the poster child for single women, and she was like, she doesn't like that. She doesn't want to be that. Why can't she just be a person who just loves to travel? Yes, she's not in a relationship, that she doesn't have kids, but doesn't mean anything. I have kids, so solo traveling would have been like a what back in the day, until I went to Jamaica in 2023. And she was saying that she's not the poster child, and she also doesn't like the label of being a kept woman. She said the feminist in her, doesn't like that terminology, because she said on one of her solo travels, somebody came up to her and was like, you waiting for somebody? As if she could not go on a beautiful vacation, by herself, enjoying herself, being entertained, enjoying, the comfort of being alone and unplugging. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I honestly concur and I agree with her. I love Tracee Ellis Ross. I loved her since Girlfriends. I love her, the lane she's carved out. I feel like she's my spirit animal at this point. I'm just going to say that. So she gets ready for dinner and she goes to this place called Shabi Shabi. Let me tell y'all something while she was in Marrakesh. Everything that they were bringing out, I wanted to try. A lot of my people in my family, because, everybody likes to stick to what they know. They don't want to try nothing new. I'm the opposite from them. Let me try this. Let me try that. When they brought out, like, the different types of, I think at first they brought out, like, different flavors of things she could try. And to note, this place, Shabi Shabi, is all women chefs. And she was like, Tracee Ellis Ross was like, this is empowering to me, because where do you go, especially, I would say, not to be stereotypical, but like in Morocco, it's really male driven. For it to be a restaurant, owned by women and women chefs and women managers, it was beautiful. And the ambiance was beautiful. I was like, oh my God, I will try everything that they're talking about, they're eating. And she just, enjoyed being alone. And not only being alone, she would go interact with other people in a restaurant. And that's something I love to do. Go in another country, nobody knows me. Hey, how you doing? Meet somebody from a different part of the world. Enjoy different cultures of the food. And I loved every moment of that. She also did some shopping, in the Medina, I think they called it. And she was testing out rugs and learning like the different culture of which pattern on a certain rug would mean. I was like, oh gosh, I would love to do this. Like, this is something if I could get away from a desk and just spend the rest of my life traveling the world as a career, I would do it. Instead of all day just seeing the beauty of the world, talking to new people. And she was learning different things about the patterns on the rugs. She went to different shops where she would ask, look at different little trinkets and say, what does this mean? And they would tell her different stories and how cultural. And all throughout the series, you would see them put up little statements about the history, the coloring of the different colors in Morocco. I completely loved that. And that was episode 1. So episode 2, she went to Mexico. I want to say I went to Mexico, but I've never been alone. I went with a family group trip before to Cabo. And I would say this about traveling alone. You don't have to, I want to do this, I want to do that. You just get up and do whatever you want to do. So the second episode, she went to Mexico and she went to Cancun, which I've been before, but she went to this hotel called Rosewood Mayakoba. And I Googled and it's very, very expensive, but you see why. But when she gets there, it rains a lot, but she still was entertaining herself. I think if you would go on a group trip, people would be complaining, oh my God, it's raining. She still made the best of it. She still tried on her outfits. She still did whatever she wanted to do. She still entertained herself. And then like the next day when it wasn't raining, she went like in Mexico, you would think you're just going to the beach and go to the pool. No, she went and played tennis. Why not? Solo traveling. Get to do what you want to do. Just decided to play tennis. And I love that for her. Like, she said, I hadn't played tennis in years, and she had a tennis little moment, and that's what she did. She did, and she enjoyed it. Like, why not? And that's the luxury about solo traveling. Again, you just do what you want. You get up, you want to do here, you go there. She also said, some key things, even though it was raining, she got to unplug and relax. And that's something I love to do. And I would love to do that. And even though it was raining, I love the rain. I would like sit back and probably enjoy a book or something and relax in another country. And she did that. And then also at this resort was like a river. And it seemed so serene, y'all, and so peaceful. And she's just, just riding through it. And they're telling her different things about why the hotel is called what it is, and it's based on the river that's there. She's traveling outside of it. Also to note, Tracy loves trees and water. I believe Tracy's a Scorpio like I am. Us water signs love water. Ocean water, pool, water me out. Like, I love any form of water. But I was like, when she was right on that, but I'm like, oh, I would love so much to be able to just walk out of my hotel room. What I want to do today? Let me get on the boat and just travel through the resort. And it was beautiful. Also to note, I noticed something too that she did on this trip. She talked a lot about the themes and the reasoning, and it wasn't so superficial. Like, she would pack up her shoes, and she kept calling her singing Ave Maria when she would unpack her shoes or whatever. But it was more like tuning into herself, enjoying the moment. And she noticed something. She was like, the luxury of this trip is the state of well-being, not the state of not well-being. And you have to just be. And I love that. I love that for her, and I would love to do that. Something also I noticed when she was on this trip in Mexico, it was raining, so she was like, let me get some work done. And she was retouching some pictures for her brand pattern. And she said something that stood out to me that you don't really hear a lot of celebrities say. She was like, I'm doing retouching, but I don't want to get rid of my wrinkles. I don't want to get rid of my crow's feet. She's like, there's certain things I want to tweak a little bit, but in this world with fillers and Botox and everybody with their lips out to here looking the same, and everybody trying to get Botox so they can look like this all the time, I love the fact that she's Tracee Ellis Ross, Diana Ross's daughter, and guess what? She can have all the best cosmetic surgery, but no, you're going to see her wrinkles, you're going to see her crow's feet, even on her product, and I love that for her, and I love that. I love that, and I love that. How many times I'm saying I love that? Take a sip every time I say I love that, because I love that. But she also just talked about, there has to be an in-between between Joan of Arc and the cat lady. Now, granted, Tracy doesn't have kids. I have kids, so I wouldn't necessarily be a cat lady, because even though when the kids grow up, they still going to need you. But there does have to be, there has to be an in-between. You can't just be rah, rah, rah. I don't have any kids. I don't want to have any kids. I don't want to live this life. And then a cat lady is going to go off and deplete and live a lonely life. No, get on, have the fun, experience the world. And I'm on the same wavelength in energy that Tracy's on, essentially, to have that life. And then episode 3, she went to Spain, Marbella. And she had this very long layover in Paris. That's the thing, too, about traveling, especially in this climate. You see, even Tracy, her bags got lost. Well, her bags didn't go lost. It took a long time for her bags to get there, but she thought her bags were lost. She had this long layover in Paris. She's Tracee Ellis Ross. They put her up in a hotel where she had to wait for a very long time. It was a really long day of travel. Then finally she made it to Spain, and she was sick with food poisoning. I would say traveling, it sometimes can be very exhausting and very draining and very just like, where's my bags? I'm ready to get to where I'm going. But if you look in the grand scheme of things, anywhere, anything you do, whether you're working in corporate America, whether you're working here, maybe you're an actress, whatever you do, it's always a pro and a con to that. And if a con is just being laid over in Paris, I'll take it. Okay? So after that, you see her spending most of her time in the bed, sick, calling her brother. He tells her to go get out a breath of fresh air. She also calls the legendary Diana Ross, her mother. We know that's her mother. And just talks to her, and she said, I'm gonna get up and get out, do a little bit. And she did a little bit she said she wasn't 100%, but she did a little bit. But that's the thing too, like going around, eating different foods, different cultures, being in different climates. You never know how your stomach may adjust. You never know, you might eat something that doesn't agree with you. But she said she had food poisoning and she couldn't really enjoy it. And you in Spain, that was the whole point. When she said the reason she was going to Spain is the food, the food, the food. And she couldn't really enjoy it the first day. By day 5, which is like days later, she was able to go out and do shopping and do the things that she did in Marrakesh. And she also went to like this different like ceramic store where this lady made homemade plates. In the mix of each time Tracy would go shopping, I noticed that she would ask, like, what does this mean in this culture? Like, what is this? And the lady was explaining to her in Spain. And then she also went to this olive oil place. Y'all, I love olive oil. It used to be a place, I used to work in City Center years ago. It used to be an olive oil place that had like custom olive oil, like really organic, like different flavors. And you just taste it with bread, and it'd be like a whole firecracker emotion of flavor in your mouth. The way she was eating that bread with the olive oil, I was like, oh, I would love to do that, because I love olive oil. It was to the point where she was like, she had a little crew with her, not a major production, but she had a crew, camera crew, of course. Tracee Ellis Ross is for Roku. And she was like, put the cameras down, y'all come try these different olive oils. And I was like, I wish I was there, because it was like an orangish one. I was like, I wonder what that tastes like. That goes back to why I would love to travel the world and try different things and be alone while doing it. Because if you dare somebody like, I don't want to go to no olive oil spot, I don't want to do this, you don't have to hear that noise and that chatter when you're alone. When you're traveling alone, you get to really mindfully enjoy the culture and the climate that you're in. And after that, that night she went to dinner, and some ladies had sent her a drink, and it's like, oh my God, I'm so sad you're by yourself. She's like, no, this is what I wanted. And she sits down. That's another thing through all the episodes. She would sit down with the locals and sit down and enjoy, just being by herself. At one time she was being really goofy. She's a little tipsy. She kept knocking over the lamp. The lady kept fixing the lamp. She kept knocking over the lamp. It was cute. And her quirky personality. That's why I say it kind of remind me of how Joan was from Girlfriends. You could tell, like, it's a little Joan Clayton with Tracee Ellis Ross and Girlfriends, which one of my favorite comfort shows. But I just love, I'm like, am I late? Like, why nobody told me about this show, Solo Traveling with Tracee Ellis Ross? Maybe because it's on Roku. I don't know if everybody has a Roku TV. I have one. But I think you could download the app. But I just love the show. I also want to know, being on YouTube now, I see a lot of vlogs and a lot of vloggers. And I want to preface this by saying, this is no shade to any of the vlogger girls, all the girls that's traveling doing vlogs. What I see in the girls that do vlogs and go into different countries is essentially, I'm going to put on this, Chanel earrings with this, and this. But granted, Tracy has all the designs. I mean, she's Tracee Ellis Ross. But that wasn't the theme of what she was trying to promote. It was really trying to show, like, you can be alone. You can be by yourself and experience the world and enjoy it with yourself, and that's okay, and it's gonna be okay, and it's honestly fun that way. And a lot of the vlogger girls, obviously, they spend so much time, they want to put on all their their Chanel, their Balenciaga, do the get ready with me. Nothing wrong with that, no shade. I haven't came across an authentic vlogger to just say, look, guess what, I just want to experience the world, like, mindfully enjoy it. That segues into when I went on my solo trip in 2023 alone. I didn't really post a lot. I wasn't on Instagram trying to let everybody know I did a couple little things here, but I could have made a whole vlog about pictures. I still have them on my phone that I took. I remember when I got there, checking in, I was like, do I want to do like bamboo rafting? This stuff you see on YouTube or Instagram when people go to Jamaica. I was like, no, I want to do something different. So the resort that I had there had like these different restaurants, and they also had like this, I wouldn't call it a bay, but like a platoon, like it was like a body of water connected to the ocean, but they had blocked it off or whatever. And you could sit in there, or you could like lay in front of it. And I remember getting there, and I was thinking in my head, if I was with somebody, even if I was with my kids, they'd be like, what are we gonna do? I want to do this. I remember just getting off the plane, grabbing something, checking into a hotel, and just going down there and just walking around, just looking at everybody, and just laying out in this like bay of water. I keep saying bay. It's not a bay. But it was like a big body of water at the resort, and it was connected to the ocean. And then on one side, it was like really rocky, and you could kind of be partially in the ocean, but not in the ocean. I love the ocean. I'm a water sign. I'm a Scorpio. I love, 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 love the ocean. And I just sit there for hours, and they would bring you food. And I remember like the freshness of the fish. They would cook it right there on the beach. And then, okay, I was like, I would get up and walk around the resort. And then I was like, well, let me plan dinner. And that night, y'all, I kind of got ready. I didn't post anything. I played music, got ready, put on lipstick, got dressed up just like Tracy did, for myself, not for anybody. And this restaurant that at this resort that I stayed in Jamaica, I literally ate by the ocean. And I had everything that I wanted to eat, because I was like, when I go to Jamaica, I want to try the oxtails. I want to try the curry goat. I want to try all the everything. And I remember the manager of the restaurant on the resort came out to me. She was like, you by yourself? I was like, yeah. And I was like, I want to Bob Marley. I want all the things, whatever. She was like, I got something special for me. She whipped up this dish. I cannot pronounce what it was, and I can't remember what it was, but I always tell people about it. It was this fish. Also the oxtails, which I noticed the taste was so different, of course, Jamaica, and the size and everything, than I've had in America. And I just sat there for hours just staring at the ocean. It was like getting dark, and the waves were beautiful, and it was so relaxing. And the next day I woke up and I was like, what I want to do today. That's the thing about solo travel. It's like you can really, really enjoy the culture, the country that you're in, because I made friends. Well, I won't say friends. I met people from all around the world. I also met people, the locals. I also really unplugged. Like, I would call back home and check on my kids and check in with my family, but I just didn't want to do that. At one point, the resort that I was at, you were able to get like on this raft. I would never call it a raft, but we went way out. I have a video of it, way out, like where to Jamaica was this small. And the man kept messing with me. He was like, you want to go to Cuba? It was a joke. But I put my phone down for two reasons. One, because I think I was going to drop it in the ocean. But two, I was like just coasting in the ocean. And I'm like, oh, I love it. I love it. And when I got back to shore, I went back up to the room, changed, whatever, got ready for that night. I had like a little thing at the hotel. And I just went around all night just talking to people, getting to know people. I had met a group of, like, separate group of friend groups. And they were like, you here by yourself? I was like, yeah, I'm in here by myself. And it was like beautiful seeing the people in the culture and getting to know the things. And I want to end this by saying I absolutely love Tracee Ellis Ross's Solo Traveling with Tracy on Roku. And am I late to the party? I didn't know nothing about this show, y'all. And I'm like, oh my God, because I had a conversation with somebody a couple days ago, and I was like, I'm tired of sitting behind a desk. I'm tired of a lot. I would love to just travel the world, experience different foods, experience different cultures, learn about different cultures in real time, alone. And that, I was like, this show spoke to my soul. I always felt like Tracee Ellis Ross was like my spirit animal. I love her. Her fashions be fashioning. But again, y'all, I loved this. Traveling with Solo Traveling, Tracee Ellis Ross, the whole cinematography. Like, you could see she had a little production there, but it wasn't like major. And she was just like being quirky and goofy. Tracee Ellis Ross that we know she could be. And I loved it. I loved it. If anybody has watched this, please comment and let me know what your thoughts were. Or also, what do you think about solo traveling? You know, everybody talks about the danger, but we can't live in fear. Also, have you ever traveled solo? And then, have you tried her hair product pattern? It was promoted a lot. You could even, I was watching on the Roku TV, you could even do like an interactive, if you press the middle button, you know, purchase her product pattern. But anyway, that was something different that I wanted to do as far as content, because everybody's talking about the same thing. You scroll through every algorithm, everybody's talking about the same thing. So dark, so heavy. And again, I want this channel sometimes to be, no, I want it to be light. I'm not talking about nothing too heavy unless I have to and it's a big story. But Y'all tell me your thoughts. Did y'all watch it? Did y'all enjoy it? Did y'all feel the same way I did? Have y'all ever been on a solo vacation? Let me tell you, 10, 10, 10s. It's wonderful. Chef's kiss. I love it. I would love to do it again. If I could, so since I've already been in Jamaica, I said this when I went to Jamaica and I came back to the States. I said, I want to island hop through the Caribbean. I want to go like to Antigua. I want to go to Grenada. I want to go like all different places alone. Especially St. Lucia. St. Lucia is like one of the places I really want to go to. And like do the Caribbean and then, you know, cross the pond later. But anyway, y'all, this is longer than I wanted to be. I'm just really, really happy and excited, and it just lifted up my spirits and my soul. I'm like, I'm tired of sitting behind a computer. It got me more to life, and I just want to experience the world, and I enjoyed this show. So like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, what y'all thought about the Tracee Ellis Ross show, if you watched it, what you think about solo traveling. I want to also know, when I was in Jamaica, I ran into this lady and she was saying, you hear about yourself? She was like, she was a travel agent. She was like, I'm starting to notice a lot of people are starting to just travel alone. Because if you think about it, y'all, when you go with people, you have to conform to their needs. Like when it was raining in Mexico, I'm sure somebody would have complained. Or when Tracee was sick, they probably were like, oh my gosh, she's sick. Oh, she running the whole trip. We in Spain. And then she still made the best of it. You know, she got up, put on her clothes, even when she wasn't going out, and still made the best of it. And I love it. I love that for her. I love that. And essentially, I wish in a world I could live like that. Anyway, again, y'all, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Bye.